I married stability, not love, my wife confessed to strangers in the Maldives. I swallowed the humiliation and gathered every lie she told me. By the time she saw the evidence, it was already too late. I never thought I'd find myself in such a gut-wrenching situation. I 32M married Diana, 29F, 3 weeks ago. We've been together 4 years, and I thought we had something special. I proposed after she spent an entire night helping me prepare for a crucial work presentation, staying up until 3 a.m. organizing my slides and practicing my pitch with me. We just got back from our honeymoon in the Maldives. I saved for 2 years to give her the trip she deserved. Diana has a master's in art history but hasn't worked since her gallery position ended 8 months ago. I make decent money as a digital marketing director, around $180K, so I told her to take time finding the right opportunity. Her parents, Robert and Patricia, constantly ask when she'll get serious about life, which I know stresses her out. Here's where everything went wrong. Our third night, we're at this beachside bar. Diana's had maybe 5 drinks, talking to this couple from Australia, Tom and Jessica. Out of nowhere, she starts oversharing about our relationship. I'm standing right there, but she's talking like I'm not even present. Honestly, she said, gesturing with her cocktail, I settled for Kyle because he's safe and provides well. My real type is creative, artistic souls like my ex-boss Marcus. But Kyle's boring, predictable, good for stability, not passion. I felt like someone punched me in the chest. Tom and Jessica looked uncomfortable, glancing between us, but Diana kept going. Time was running out, you know. My parents kept pressuring me to marry someone suitable. Kyle's suitable. She laughed, this bitter sound I'd never heard before. He worships me, so he'll never leave. That's worth something, right? I tried to get her attention, touched her arm gently. Diana, maybe we should. See? She turned to the couple, eyes glassy. Always trying to manage me, it's pathetic really, but pathetic pays the bills. The humiliation was crushing. Everyone at nearby tables was staring. I managed to get her back to our villa, but when I tried to talk about what happened, she became aggressive. You're being dramatic, she snapped. It's just drunk talk. Stop being so sensitive. The next morning, she claimed she remembered nothing, absolutely nothing. When I recounted her words, she looked at me like I was crazy. I would never say those things, she insisted. You must have misunderstood. You know how you get when you're insecure. That phrase hit different. When do I get insecure? Was this something she'd noticed about me that I hadn't seen myself? But here's what's really eating at me. Tom caught me at breakfast the next day and quietly said, Mate, that was rough last night. You deserve better than that. So I didn't imagine it. It happened. Since we've been home, I've noticed things. Diana's always on her phone, texting someone. When I walk into a room, she quickly closes whatever she's looking at. Last night, she was giggling at something on her screen, and when I asked what was funny, she said, just work stuff. What work stuff? She doesn't have a job. I've started second-guessing everything. Was our whole relationship built on lies? When she helped me with that presentation, was she just playing a role? Did she ever actually love me, or am I just the safe choice who happened to make decent money? The worst part is how I'm changing. Yesterday at dinner with friends, I caught myself not telling a story I thought was funny because I wondered if Diana would find it pathetic. I apologized 3 times during the meal for things that weren't even mistakes. Sarah, my sister who's a therapist, pulled me aside and asked if everything was okay. I told her I was fine, but I'm not fine. I keep replaying that night. The way Diana's voice sounded when she called me pathetic. How easily those words came out, like she'd thought them many times before. The couple's faces when they realized what was happening. My own reflection in the bar mirror, standing there like an idiot while my wife told strangers she settled for me. Diana's been extra sweet since we got back, making my favorite meals, suggesting we watch movies together. But it feels performative now, like she's following a script titled How to Be a Good Wife. When she kisses me goodbye in the morning, I wonder if she's thinking about Marcus, whoever the hell he is. I've been married 3 weeks and I'm already questioning everything. Is this normal post-wedding anxiety, or did I just get a glimpse behind the curtain? Part of me thinks I should be grateful she chose me at all, but another part is screaming that something's fundamentally wrong here. The practical side of my brain says to give it time, that alcohol makes people say stupid things they don't mean. But the other side, the part that's been awake every night since the Maldives, thinks maybe Diana told those strangers the truth she's never told me. So Reddit, am I overreacting to drunk rambling, or did I just discover that my marriage is built on a lie? I thought I married my best friend, but apparently I'm just her security blanket. What would you do? Update 1. First, thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. Reading your comments was like a punch to the gut and a breath of fresh air at the same time. I've been seeing Dr. Rodriguez for 3 weeks now. Yesterday, she helped me understand something crucial about myself. I've been an overgiver my entire life, trying to earn love by being useful, by anticipating others' needs before my own. It stems from childhood stuff I won't get into, but the pattern is clear. I give everything, hoping someone will finally choose me for me, not just for what I provide. Kyle, Dr. Rodriguez said during our last session, you're not responsible for managing Diana's emotions or protecting her from consequences. That's codependency, not love. The timing was perfect because my sister Sarah came to visit this weekend. Sarah's a licensed therapist, and within 2 hours of being around Diana and me, she pulled me aside. What happened to your personality? She asked bluntly. You used to fill up a room, now you're apologizing for breathing. She was right. During dinner, I watched myself shrink. When Diana made a comment about the restaurant being beneath her usual standards, I immediately apologized for choosing it, even though she'd suggested the place. When I started telling Sarah about a funny client interaction, Diana interrupted with, Kyle's work stories are so dry, and I just stopped talking. Sarah's expression shifted to something protective and dangerous. But here's what's been messing with my head. 2 nights ago, I found Diana crying in our bedroom. Really crying, not the manipulative tears I've started recognizing. She looked small, vulnerable, like the woman I fell in love with. I feel so lost, she whispered, her voice breaking. When I lost my job at the gallery, I lost myself too. I don't know who I am without my career. I'm 30 years old and I feel like a complete failure. She pulled her knees to her chest, rocking slightly. My parents keep asking when I'll get my life together. Patricia called yesterday asking if I'd considered practical career options like teaching or retail. Teaching, after my master's degree. For a moment I saw her pain clearly. I used to have purpose, she continued, wiping her nose with her sleeve. I was somebody, Deanna Wells, the curator who discovered that unsigned Rothko sketch. Now I'm just nobody. A burden on my husband who probably regrets marrying damaged goods. That phrase hit me hard. Damaged goods. Is that how she sees herself? I remembered our second anniversary when I surprised her with professional art supplies, museum-quality brushes, imported watercolors. She cried then too, but happy tears, saying, You see me, you really see me, not just the failure my parents think I am. That memory made me want to comfort her, to fix everything. But was this genuine vulnerability or another performance? The timing felt convenient right when I'd been pulling away emotionally. Dr. Rodriguez's words echoed, I'm not responsible for fixing Diana's feelings, but Christ, watching someone you love break down like that, it's complicated. The next morning changed everything. Diana was in the shower and her phone buzzed on the nightstand. The screen lit up with a text from M. She'd left it unlocked, which never happens. My gut told me to look, and for once I listened to my gut instead of my guilt. The message read, Missing our late-night conversations. Kyle will never understand art like you do. My hands were shaking as I scrolled up. Months of messages. Months of emotional intimacy with someone else while she was planning our wedding. Sometimes I wonder what if I hadn't been so scared back then, Diana had written. He's good to me, but there's no fire, no passion, she'd written the day after our honeymoon. I married stability, not love, she'd written 2 weeks ago. I screenshotted everything before she got out of the shower. My chest felt hollow. Like someone had scooped out my insides with a spoon. But even as I gathered evidence, part of me wondered, am I violating her privacy to prove she's violating our marriage? Was I becoming the controlling husband she complained about to M? The shower stopped running. My time was up. When Diana emerged, wrapped in her towel, she was humming. Actually humming. The cognitive dissonance hit me like a truck. This woman who'd been sobbing about feeling worthless was now cheerful after texting another man. I wanted to confront her right then. Scream. Demand answers. But something Dr. Rodriguez said stopped me. Gather information before you react. Emotional decisions rarely serve your best interests. Hardest advice I've ever followed. Since then, I've been watching Diana differently. She's defensive about everything now. Yesterday, I overheard her talking to her mother. At least you're finally settled, darling, Patricia's voice carried from the kitchen. Don't mess this up like your career. You can't afford to be picky at your age. Diana's response chilled me. I know, Mom, I won't do anything stupid. Is that what I am? the thing she won't be stupid enough to throw away. I reached out to Tom and Jessica, the couple from our honeymoon. Jessica responded immediately. "We've been worried about you. That night was horrible to witness. Diana's behavior was completely inappropriate and you handled it with more grace than she deserved." Tom added, "Mate, in 15 years of marriage, Jessica and I have never spoken about each other that way to strangers. What Diana said wasn't drunk talk, it was her truth coming out." Their validation meant everything. I wasn't imagining things, I wasn't being too sensitive. My best friend James noticed the changes too. We've been friends since college and he's always been protective of the people he loves. "You're different," he said over beers last week. "Quieter, like you're walking on eggshells in your own life." When I mentioned Diana's mood swings, he got this look on his face. "Kyle, I need to tell you something. Before your wedding at the bachelor party, Diana cornered me at the bar. She was testing the waters, asking if I thought you'd be enough for her long term. I shut it down, but it was weird timing." Everything started clicking into place. The pieces of a puzzle I'd been trying to ignore. I'm not confronting Diana yet. Dr. Rodriguez is helping me understand my own patterns first, building my strength before I face whatever's coming. I'm setting small boundaries now. When Diana snapped at me for loading the dishwasher wrong, I didn't apologize. I just said, "I did my best," and walked away. She looked genuinely shocked. I have more screenshots to gather, more questions to ask. Part of me hopes I'm wrong about everything, that M is just a friend, that Diana's unhappiness is temporary. But the bigger part, the part that's been suffocating for months, knows the truth. My marriage might be over, but for the first time in months I can breathe. Should I confront her now or gather more evidence first? Some of you mentioned private investigators in the comments. Is that crazy, or is that what this situation calls for? Update 2, okay Reddit, this is a long one. Grab some popcorn because this story just got wild. Remember those screenshots I found on Diana's phone, the ones with M? Well, you guys convinced me to dig deeper, so I hired a private investigator. Cost me $800, but honestly, best money I've ever spent. I've been in therapy this whole time trying to figure out if I'm the crazy one. Dr. Rodriguez has been helping me separate my feelings from the facts. Last week she asked me something that hit hard. "Kyle, what would you tell your best friend if he came to you with this exact situation?" That's when I knew I had to get answers. The pie got back to me yesterday. I'm still processing everything, but I need to get this out before I lose my nerve. Marcus Thompson is real. He works at Whitmore Gallery downtown. But here's the thing, he's not Diana's one that got away. He's her former boss who had to fire her. According to the pie, Diana worked at Whitmore for about 8 months last year. Marcus was her supervisor. Married guy, 2 kids, been at the gallery for like 10 years. Good reputation in the art world. Here's what actually happened based on HR records and witness statements. Diana started out normal. Good work, enthusiastic about the exhibitions, but things got weird pretty fast. She began staying late when Marcus was there, volunteering for every project he supervised. Then she started leaving little gifts on his desk, coffee, pastries, art books with personal notes inside. The other employees noticed. Marcus tried to handle it professionally, had a conversation with her about maintaining boundaries. But Diana took that as encouragement. She started showing up at gallery events where his wife would be, making sure to position herself where Marcus could see her. She'd find excuses to touch his arm during conversations. Once, she accidentally spilled wine on her dress at an opening and asked Marcus to help her clean up in private. The final straw was at a major donor event. Diana cornered Marcus by the coat check and straight up propositioned him, in front of other people. His wife was literally across the room. Marcus filed a complaint with HR the next morning. Diana was fired within the week for inappropriate workplace conduct. But here's the kicker, Diana's been telling everyone a completely different story. She tells people that Marcus pursued her, that they had this deep connection, and she left to protect his marriage because she's not that kind of woman. She's literally turned herself into the victim in her own harassment story. When I read this, everything clicked. Those text messages weren't from some lost love pining for her. They were her continued attempts to contact someone who'd blocked her on everything else. Marcus hasn't responded to her in months, according to the pie. She's been texting into the void. I sat in my car outside that pie's office for like an hour just staring at the report. Everything Diana told me about leaving that job was a lie. Everything about Marcus was a lie. How many other lies am I living with? I went home that night feeling like I was in a movie. Deanna was on the couch watching Netflix looking completely normal. "Hey babe," she said without looking up. "How was work?" "Fine," I managed. "You?" She sighed this dramatic sigh. "Another rejection email. It's so hard when employers don't appreciate real talent." I wanted to laugh or scream, maybe both. "I'm sure something will come up," I said. "I hope so. I deserve better than this limbo." Deserve, that word again. The pie found more stuff too. Diana's been reaching out to people in my network using my name to get meetings. She told my colleague Sarah from accounting that I was going through a difficult phase, and asked if Sarah knew any single guys who might appreciate someone with culture. She's networking for my replacement while we're still married. My friend James finally told me the rest of what happened at my bachelor party. He'd been holding back because he didn't want to hurt me, but seeing how messed up I've been, he decided I needed to know. "She didn't just ask if you'd be enough for her," he said when we met for drinks last week. "She asked for my number, said marriage was going to be an adjustment and she might need someone to talk to who understood her better than Kyle does." 3 days before our wedding. "I told her that was inappropriate," James continued. "But she just laughed and said, 'You can't blame a girl for keeping her options open.'" I felt sick. Literally nauseous. My parents have been worried about me. Mom called yesterday and mentioned running into Diana at Target. "She seemed different," Mom said carefully. "Kept talking about how hard marriage has been, how you've been emotionally unavailable since the honeymoon." I haven't been emotionally unavailable. I've been in therapy and trying to figure out if my wife is a pathological liar. "She also said you've been working late a lot," Mom added. Another lie. "I get home at the same time every day." I'm starting to see the pattern. Diana's not just lying to me, she's lying about me. To our friends, to my family, to anyone who will listen. She's building this narrative where I'm the bad husband and she's the suffering wife. The most messed up part, sometimes I catch glimpses of the old Diana. Last night she made dinner and we watched a movie together. She laughed at my stupid jokes and curled up next to me on the couch. For a minute it felt like before. "I love you," she said, kissing my cheek. "You're the most stable thing in my life." Stable, not loved, not cherished, stable. I've been documenting everything now, screenshots of her contradictory stories, notes about her lies. My lawyer buddy Tom says I need to protect myself before confronting her. "People like this don't go down quietly," he warned. "Make sure you have proof of everything before you pull the trigger." I'm planning to confront her this weekend. I've got all the evidence printed out. Dr. Rodriguez is helping me prepare for what she might say, how she might try to flip the script. The weird thing is, I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just done. The man who wrote that first post 3 months ago would have tried to save this marriage, would have blamed himself for Diana's behavior, would have believed her lies and worked harder to be worthy of her love. But that guy was a sucker. This guy knows the truth. And the truth is, I married someone who sees me as a safety net while she chases fantasies and rewrites history to avoid consequences. I deserve better than that. We all do. Next update will be about the confrontation. Wish me luck, Reddit, I'm going to need it. Update 3, Reddit, it's over. Thanks to everyone who sent encouragement after my last post. I printed out everything. The Pi report, screenshots of her texts, documentation of her lies to friends and family, had it all organized in a folder like I was presenting a business case. Because honestly, that's what this was, a case for why our marriage needed to end. Last Saturday, I suggested we have dinner at home, made her favorite pasta, opened a nice bottle of wine. Diana was in a good mood, talking about some art exhibit she wanted to visit. "This is nice," she said, reaching across the table to squeeze my hand. "We should do this more often." I looked at her and felt nothing. Not love, not anger, just this weird calm. "Deanna," I said, "we need to talk about some things." Her smile faded a little. "Okay, what's wrong now?" I pulled out the folder. "I hired a private investigator." The color drained from her face, like literally drained. She went from normal to ghost white in about 2 seconds. "You what?" "I know about Marcus Thompson. I know what really happened at Whitmore Gallery." She tried to recover, putting on this confused expression. "I don't know what you mean." I opened the folder and started reading. Inappropriate conduct towards Supervisor Marcus Thompson, escalating behavior including unwanted gifts, personal notes, and physical contact, terminated for sexual harassment after propositioning supervisor at donor event. Her hands were shaking. "That's not. Who told you that?" "HR records don't lie, Diana." She switched tactics, got angry like I'd wronged her somehow. "You had me investigated, like some kind of criminal. How dare you violate my privacy?" You mean like you violated our marriage by texting your former victim for months? That shut her up. I kept going. Showed her the screenshots of her telling people I was controlling and emotionally unavailable. Evidence of her using my professional network to find job opportunities and potential replacements for me. You've been building a case against me with everyone we know, I said, making me the bad guy so when you leave, you're the victim. Diana stared at the papers like they might disappear if she looked hard enough. Then she tried a different approach. Kyle, please, I can explain everything. Go ahead. She took a shaky breath. I was confused after losing my job. I made mistakes, but I never cheated on you, those texts with Marcus. I was just trying to get closure. By harassing someone who blocked you everywhere else, tears started falling. Real ones, I think. I felt so worthless, like such a failure, I didn't know how to handle it. For a second, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. That doesn't excuse lying to me for 8 months. She reached across the table, trying to grab my hands. I love you, I chose you, doesn't that matter? You chose my paycheck and stability, you told me that yourself in the Maldives. The crying got heavier. I was drunk, I didn't mean it. Which time were you lying, Deanna, then or now? That's when she dropped the bomb. I'm pregnant. I just stared at her. What? 8 weeks, I found out yesterday. She was crying harder now. This changes everything, we're going to be a family. My first thought was, is this even true? My second thought was, timing. 8 weeks puts conception right around when we got back from the honeymoon, I said slowly. Yes, see, it happened when we were working on our marriage. But I remembered those weeks. Diana had been extra affectionate after our fight in the Maldives, initiating sex more than usual. At the time, I thought she was trying to reconnect. Now I wondered if she was trying to create an insurance policy. Diana, a baby doesn't fix a broken marriage. It's not broken, we can work on this, I'll change, I'll be better. She was spiraling, making all kinds of promises. She'd go to therapy, cut contact with Marcus completely, be the wife I deserved. But all I could think was, a child shouldn't be born into this mess. A kid deserves parents who respect each other, I said. Do you respect me? She couldn't answer. Do you love me or do you love what I provide? Still nothing. That's when I told her I'd already talked to a lawyer. Her face went through about 5 different emotions in 10 seconds. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious about anything. The pregnancy lasted 6 weeks. Diana miscarried in early December. She seemed almost relieved, which told me everything I needed to know about her motivations. I moved out the day after Thanksgiving, filed for separation in January. The divorce was finalized last month. Diana fought it at first, tried to claim I'd abandoned her in her time of need. But when my lawyer presented all the evidence of her lies and emotional affair, her attorney advised her to settle quickly. She lost most of our mutual friends once the truth came out. Turns out people don't like being manipulated, even by someone they felt sorry for. I've been in therapy this whole time, working on understanding how I got into that situation and making sure I don't repeat those patterns. Dr. Rodriguez helped me see that I'd been so focused on being worthy of love that I forgot to ask if the person offering it was actually worthy of me. I'm dating someone now. Amanda's a pediatric nurse I met through my therapy group. She's kind, honest, and when she says she loves me, I believe her. Not because she needs my stability or paycheck, but because she actually likes who I am as a person. Wild concept, right? I ran into Diana about a month ago at a coffee shop downtown. She's working retail now, looks tired. Tried to start a conversation about how things could have been different. I've changed, she said. I understand myself better now. I hope that's true, I told her, but understanding and changing are different things. She asked if we could be friends. I said no, politely but firmly. Some bridges are meant to stay burned. The whole experience taught me something important. You can understand why someone hurts you without accepting that treatment. Diana had real pain, real struggles with self-worth and family pressure. But that doesn't excuse lying, emotional cheating, or treating your partner like a backup plan. To anyone reading this who sees themselves in my original post, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. You deserve someone who chooses you enthusiastically, not someone who settles for you while shopping for better options. Thanks, Reddit. You probably saved my sanity and definitely saved my future. 1 year later, I'm happier than I've been in years. Turns out life gets a lot better when you stop accepting scraps from people who should be grateful to have you. Peace out.